years and live here by choice. My spouse and I think this is a wonderful place. I've been married to John Lee for 44 years. We have 4 kids. 3 of them seem to end up in the Pacific Northwest also. One's in Seattle, one's in Atlanta, one's in Clackamas, and the other one is still down in San Diego. My kids have provided us 13 and a half grandchildren, and they're taking care of themselves quite nicely. They're all good, self-supporting, and all that nice stuff. My first job, real career job, was with EG&G Environmental Consultants in Waltham, Massachusetts. After about a few months, I realized I preferred to be an engineer, so I went home across the country and got myself a job in communications in San Diego. And I stayed in San Diego in communications until I retired as a vice president of engineering in Waltham. After that, here at Cowlitz County, my choice. Refresh my memory. I did it quite quickly. Okay, I served as a citizen at large on the Water Resources Inventory Area. 6, we stopped one of the most onerous Department of Ecology edicts that had been signed, approved by the former Board of Commissioners. Why I want to be a commissioner is because the sanity needs to be returned. We had decades and decades of the same things. Words that we're going to change things, we're going to solve the problem, and the problems continue. So a change in outlook is required. I had rather out-of-the-box, holistic view of the problems. I had a lot of experience in HR, technology, environment. I've got cultural experience, and my time is up. I appreciate your vote. Thank you and support. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for putting this event on and having us up here. My name is Curtis Hart. Like I mentioned earlier, I am the Southwest Washington Regional Director for the Libertarian Party of Washington. I'm the founder of the Cowlitz County Libertarian Party, and I currently am the secretary of that. I'm a libertarian activist. I am also the host of the Because Liberty podcast, and I am the founder of the Punisher Squad, which is a citizen, well, the Daily News calls it a vigilante group, which targets sex predators in the area and have them arrested. The reason why I decided to run for county commissioners is if you only get so far when asking people to do things. You only get so far when you ask leaders to do things that the people want, and they just completely ignore you. And such was the case with the local overwhelming mess that we're dealing with up in Waltham. It's an awful location. The city of Kelso sent the county commissioners a letter asking them to stop, which was spearheaded by the Cowlitz County Libertarian Party because it puts people in danger. And when it was first started, it really put people in danger. They had absolutely no rules. People were getting assaulted. The calls went from, I believe, 11 in 1 year when it was the women's support shelter to roughly 400 in about 6 months in their first part. So they've made a lot of changes and improvements over that time, but the city of Kelso asked the county commissioners to please defund it, and they decided not to. And as a result of the dangerous situations that was going on there, Community House decided to stop sending people over there to be put into their integrated program, and they ended up losing their funding over the situation. So, to be the man, you got to be the man. And, you can only get so far asking before you're the person that has to step up and get people to vote for you so you can make the votes for the people. And that's basically why I'm running for county commissioner. I'd also like to see a few things changed at the county level. I'd like to see the jail put back in the hands of the sheriff so that it's in charge of an elected official. We have a big problem with people dying in our jail, and Calais County is getting sued. It's in the middle of, I believe, 3 lawsuits, and there's no elected official to answer for that. And that's not the way it is in a lot of counties. I'd also like to see the county commissioner meetings move to a time where more citizens that are working and paying the taxes that they're taking from us be moved to a time when they can attend, because they're currently Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people are at work at that time. And the other thing I'd like to see changed is just a completely defunding of COG. I believe it's a complete waste of money. It's something that our elected officials are being paid to do. They're paying elected officials to read these documents and make the decisions for our counties, and we're just paying COG hand over fist and fees doing that. It's a Council of Governments, if you didn't know what COG stands for. So, thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jim Hill. I'm a council in the city of Kelso. Some of you may know me if you read the daily news, decades of letters of all sorts of aggravation that I've had published in the daily news, a handful of editorials. And I'm one of those people that for years spent time at city council meetings. I served on numerous citizens panels, deeply involved in my community. Began to get involved in county affairs 3-4 years ago, seriously getting involved. My background, I came from a broken home. Graduated high school at 17 with a class of 19. My hometown, my last 4 years, was 360 people, 290 of us were first Americans. Nearest hospital was 28 miles away. Nearest lawyer was Father Lynette. I don't know about those things. After tours of duty in Vietnam, with both the 101st Airborne and the 4th Infantry Division, I put myself through college by working graveyards for the U.S. Postal Service. I was a member of the mail carriers and handlers union at that time. I also was a busboy for restaurants, both in Stockton, and in Sacramento. I graduated with a BA from Cal State University in government, not political science, but government, and the actual functioning day-to-day of government, how it works, how it fails, who runs it, and all of the nuances of government. I mentored under a guy by the name of Willie Brown. I did internships in the California State Legislature that were sponsored by a guy by the name of Jessup. I worked on Ronald Reagan's, and I'll say Reagan because I'm from Oklahoma, first presidential campaign. I did not vote for him the second time because I was disillusioned. And the toxic situation has prevented me from it. I've been a member of numerous veterans groups. I did veterans outreach for 15 years, working with imprisoned veterans from Vietnam, suffering PTSD, homeless, hungry, on the street, forgotten. We need changes. The first thing we need to do is gain the confidence that we can, in fact, not continue to be one of the poorest counties in this state. We need to bring about economic development. The company I work for is worldwide. We have branches in China, Pacific Rim countries, Russia. We service Boeing. We service General Electric, Ford, you name it. Fortune 100 companies worldwide. The fact of the matter is, this county needs economic development, and the only way to have economic development is to bring investment into this county. And there are plenty of sources out there. My entire background has been market development, business development. And I'm currently the specialty products manager for BEI Corp. I hate to take a pay cut in case I win this thing, but I'm willing to. Because folks, all three of my sons can leave the area to find employment commensurate with their education. And I want my grandchildren to grow up here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to come today. A lot of you already know me, but I'm Marilee McCall. I'm currently, for the last decade, I've been representative of the Woodland City Council. If I am elected to this position, I would give up that position, and I would also have to give up my job that I currently am at, which is in the Public Information and Outreach Office for Clark County. I spent 10 years in the Long Range Planning Department in Clark County prior to moving to this office. People have asked me why I would run because I've stated that I'm more times than I can even count that I'm not a politician, and I'm not really comfortable out in the front. I like doing the work behind the scenes. I like doing the research. I like making sure that decisions are made properly. But I was reminded by several people over and over again in the last several months that I have something that's entirely unique of the candidates to offer to this position. And that is that I grew up in Castle Rock, and I've lived half my life in the northern end of the county. And I've lived here for 12 years, and so I'm invested also in the southern end of the county. When I'm looking at things from the entire countywide prospect, because I still have family that is living and growing up in the Castle Rock area. I also have half of my business experience is working for industrial companies, for Weyerhaeuser, for Long Fiber, and for State Pipe and Supply in sales and marketing of industrial and steel products. And then I moved into working in the public sector. So when I'm looking at decisions that I am making, I'm also looking at them from both sides of the aisle. I'm looking at them from a business perspective, and I'm looking at them from a government perspective. It can be very challenging in making decisions in a government perspective because everything is attached. I've explained to people a lot of times when I'm making decisions that one policy is like a string in a spider web. And you have to be very careful about your unintended consequences because you might think you're fixing something and you could very possibly be breaking 3 other things while you're coming up with this wonderful fix. And so that's part of the reason why it intrigues me to be the introvert and be working really hard for you on policy and saving you from those unintended consequences. I am a mom. I have 2 grandchildren and a bonus grandchild. 2 of my grandchildren are in Arizona with my son that serves for Border Patrol and also U.S. Army National Guard. One of my grandchildren lives right across the river and is growing up in this area, and so I'm heavily invested in making sure that this stays a very nice area for her to grow up in. A little bit about myself is that I'm a kayaker, I'm a hiker, a dog owner. That's what I do in my spare time. I love to read. I love music. I love live music events. Moving forward, I can echo some of the concerns that have been said by the other candidates. One of my passions that I'm really concerned about is a Pathways 2020 report for the last several years that Cowlitz County is in the bottom 5 of health, and Clark County is in the top 5 of health. And that just infuriates me, that we are on the border, and why are we not doing better? We need to have better policies and address those things, because it's just unacceptable. Our neighbors are doing so much better than we are, and living so much better of a life. We have the same resources, we have the same public lands